Say, hey, your story is so unbelievable, Hollywood wouldn't buy it. No one would buy your story because it's that crazy.
Baron Lee has experienced and lived through the unimaginable.
He shot as many times as I was. I was sure I was bleeding out. I was sure my heart was going to stop at any given time.
It was an early July morning when Lee was approached by a masked man outside his home on his way to work.
And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to shoot me. Unload his clip right here.
He was shot a total of 9 times, some of the shots fired point blank.
But I'm thinking in my head, yeah, who's shooting me? Because I know it's not my ex-wife, but I know she's the one that sent them.
Police later connected his ex-wife to 2 17-year-olds they say she conspired with to kill Lee. But here's where his story might really shock you.
The 9 bullet wounds? Not the worst part of this.
Lee says the hit on his life is just another chapter of 5 years of a volatile, tumultuous divorce and custody battle.
I've lived it for 5 years, trying to tell this story.
Lee says he's known from the minute he told his ex-wife he was filing for divorce that she was capable of terrible things.
And not being able to tell people this because no one would believe me. And when I tried, everyone thought I was lying or exaggerating. Yeah, it was tough.
He says since 2015, things have been extremely ugly between him and his ex. He says there's been false allegations of domestic violence that temporarily had him and his son apart.
Lost my home, lost my son, lost everything I owned.
Later on, Lee says his ex-wife had their son taken away by CPS for neglect, and eventually he got temporary custody. The custody battle was still ongoing when he was shot, and Lee had no choice but to watch his son continue to go to supervised visits with his mother up until her arrest last week.
I'd like to see my son walk one day, be able to talk and communicate with me one day.
Lee's son has a form of cerebral palsy that makes him unable to speak, walk, or sit up on his own. His primary focus is getting his son the best treatment possible. When it comes to what happened to him, he says he's trying to have faith in the legal system. And his thoughts on the alleged teenage hitmen involved?
I'll tell you on camera right now, I don't blame them. I'm not even mad at the kids. They're kids. They made bad choice.
He says the only person he won't forgive is his ex-wife.
Lee's ex-wife is being held on $2 million bail, and all 3 defendants are expected to be charged tomorrow. Meanwhile, Lee says the battle for his son isn't over. He says he still needs to get full custody from the courts, and he's not sure what's going to happen now, as there is a custody trial scheduled for early next year, and he's not sure how his ex-wife's arrest will affect that. But he says he's hoping to be able to put all of this behind him soon and just focus on his son's well-being and health. In Bellevue.